The Detroit Lions played against the New York Giants on Friday, and there's a ton of takeaways that are good, bad, and the ugly that we can get into. And that's what we're going to do in this video, and I want to see improvement from said players on Saturday when they faced the New York Giants, and I want to see consistency for some of the players as well who played exceptional in that game. So we're going to get into it and break it all down for you. Make sure you go ahead and hit that notification bell because now the season is pretty much here. Obviously, it's preseason. It's not regular season, but Lions content 24/7. We're going to be doing post-game shows on here and obviously lives, all sorts of fun stuff. So hit that notification bell and subscribe. It does help the channel out, and you don't miss out on Lions content, which you all deserve. So let's go ahead and get to some winners and some losers, observations from this game, takeaways that we can take away from it. You all watched the game, generally speaking. If not, you've seen the highlights, but there's a lot of players that stood out good and bad. We're going to start with good here, and I thought Julian Okwara played absolutely outstanding. He was my biggest winner of this game. 3 sacks. He looked dominant. He actually looked physically above and superior to the New York Giants. He looked in great shape, is the best that I've seen him, and when he was not getting a sack, he was getting pressure. Julian Okwara was on the roster bubble throughout this training camp, and I had him on the outs in. After the game like that, he's now on the in on the outs. Now, he's got to be consistent, and I think that's with any player. He's got to come into this Jacksonville Jaguars game and not necessarily replicate the success that he had versus the Giants because, let's be honest, 3 sacks in one game is quite difficult. But if he can consistently get pressure and shows that, look, I can keep doing this game in, game out, I absolutely want him on this football team. I want him rushing the passer because he was extremely effective. And a good team has multiple players that can rush the passer. That's the way it generally works. Defensive line, very vital towards the success of a defense. And if he does that, then the depth of the defensive line is just that much better. So very happy for him. Major victory for him. He just needs to show up on Jacksonville, keep doing what he's doing, and he should be good to go. Loser here. Nate Sudfeld is my biggest loser from this game. Nate Sudfeld looked horrific. He did. Now, the offensive line didn't do him any benefits. With that said, he was looking like a flustered rookie out there, throwing off his back foot, throwing the football when he's getting pressure, just not taking the sack. Multiple interceptions, too. Could have been 3. His passes were not NFL level. I seen one that was 2 yards above Jameson Williams. That's unacceptable for an NFL arm. Of a quarterback, you just can't be that inaccurate, and you can't be that indecisive. He looked flustered. He didn't look good. That's the reason why we brought Teddy Bridgewater in to back up Jared Goff, because Nate Sudfeld's not a backup quarterback, and in my opinion, he pretty much is done from this football team. He'll be here probably until the preseason is over, and then Teddy Bridgewater will be named backup, and Nate Sudfeld will be released. That's the way it's going to be, because you cannot have a player like that. And Martinez looked better than him, and he's the younger guy. He was on the depth chart, and he looked poised. He looked like a player that's actually been in the league, and compared to Nate Sudfeld, he took the sack twice. Instead of throwing a bad pass, he took the sack, and that's what you should be doing. Nate Sudfeld worked himself out of a job, and let's be honest, he was pretty much out of a job anyways when the Lions signed Teddy Bridgewater. Didn't make it worse. Another big winner for me here. The rookies were all big winners. My goodness, they looked exceptional out there. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's shown his speed and burst. He's shown why we draft this guy at the 12th pick. He caught the football, gained some good yards. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a very integral part to the Lions offense in 2023, and it started versus the New York Giants in preseason week 1. He looked comfortable. He did not look like a rookie out there. He understands the playbook, and his gifts are shown. He's going to be a really good piece for the Lions. I can't wait to see him in Jacksonville as he'll get more reps. Maybe will actually have the first string offensive line out there. I'd like to see that because he was with the second string and they were not doing him any benefits. Jack Campbell looked really good out there, fast, sideline to sideline, making tackles. This is why we took him with the 18th pick. We had a problem at the linebacking position, and he is going to be a big reliever of that problem. He looked really good. He knocked a pass down, good in coverage, watching his opponent, and he wasn't missing any tackles. We're not used to that in Detroit. We're not used to having a linebacker whom you draft who doesn't miss tackles. It's been a long time. Jared Davis was a guy who'd miss tackles. We called him the North Korean missile. Wasn't the case with Jack Campbell. He looked very comfortable in this defense. I am so happy to see a young linebacker for the Detroit Lions whom you drafted play really well. And he played exceptional. Sam Laporta didn't do a whole lot. He had a drop pass. Not a lot from him there. We'll go on to Brian Branch, who played awesome. He may be the best player who played on Friday for the rookies. He looked explosive. He looked fast. He made decision, and he could tackle. Man, it is good to see a safety come out there and just absolutely understand what he's doing, make a decision, and hit it. Steal the draft. Brian Branch for the Detroit Lions is awesome. He is awesome. I can't believe he fell Lions in the round 2, and we traded up with the Packers to get him. Big oopsie moment for the Packers as they're going to regret that because Brian Branch is an outstanding player, and he's making this defense look better. Just made it look really, really good, and I'm so happy. Another loser here is Will Harris. He looked like Will Harris, lost. I don't know what to say. This guy shouldn't make the roster. He was the weakest link out there in the secondary for the Lions. You had the undrafted rookie playing much better than he did. There's a problem here, and he needs to be released. He may be a great guy on, in the locker room, all that, but you got to perform on the field. And he looked like Will Harris of old, just like we've seen for the last 3 years. And I think the experiment of Will Harris hopefully will come to an end because we have players who are talented. I'd rather see Chase Lucas out there. I'd rather see pretty much anybody out there at this point. And so he was a loser on my list. He didn't do himself any favors for this football team. The Lions need to go into a different direction. We're going to go with the defensive line with the winner, the whole defensive line. They look so good out there. The depth of the defensive line is so powerful right now. John Kaminsky, Joshua Pascal, Romeo Okwara, Julian Okwara, all out there. Broderick Martin had a piece. Even Levi Muzurike was getting some. Isaiah Buggs. They have done a phenomenal job building the depth upon this defensive line. And the Lions are going to benefit from a much improved defense because of that. All these players were just getting push after push after push. Now, there was a play here and there they didn't do well in. That's nitpicking because they were absolutely dominant throughout the whole game. We need to see consistency. Was this a product of the Giants' offensive line? Well, we'll find out versus Jacksonville. If they come out here and perform the same like they did week 1 with the depth on this defensive line, it spells great news for the Detroit Lions 2023 NFL season, an improvement on defense that we all are looking for. We know this offense, first-string offense, they can do what they're doing. We know that. We know that they can put up points and they can go down range. But it was the defense that was the question mark. And the defensive line looked so much better. Faster, stronger, all of the above. If they do that, Lions going to have a really, really, really good season. An immensely good season. Kota, wide receiver, is a winner on my list as well. He is actually a rookie, so he was an undrafted rookie. You could put him in there, but he was catching everything. He looked like Tom Kennedy out on the field there. And it's going to be interesting to see who gets that final wide receiver position because Dylan Drummond, He had a catch. He had a drop. Kota looked really good. Antoine Green looked good. It's going to be difficult to find who's going to get that number one there. And obviously, Maurice Alexander with the 95-yard kick return. He's bailing out, and he played really well in the kick return battle. So really fun to watch who's going to come out of that one. We don't really know. Bad is the second string backups offensive line. Matt Nelson, he didn't do well. There was just a lot of issues with that offensive line that they need to get better. Like, no one really is grasping those backup spots. And we need to have somebody come in here and grab it. We need to have somebody come and grab it. Dan Campbell talked about it in training camp, and it's shown its ugly face versus the Giants. Can somebody in week 2 preseason start to come out of the shell? And I thought Sorsdale played well. That's really about it, though. It wasn't that much you're seeing. I thought Jason Kabinda did not play well either. He may have worked himself out of a spot. That was one of the players that we were watching as well. Not good performance for him. You're seeing some of these players who's been on this team for a couple years, and you're starting to see probably their exit after this draft class, after the performance. But all in all, I thought it was a really good preseason, a really good showing out for them. The defense and the rookies, it's what you wanted to see. Not too worried about the offense because it was Sudfeld back there, and he's not going to be the guy for the Lions. But good performance there. Can't wait to watch on Sunday. Let me know in the comment section who is your biggest winner for the game, who is your biggest loser for the game. I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. Put one words and describe this. With that said, folks, adios.